until it says live, and I better go over to the YouTubes and wait for it so I can mute it at my end. So just gotta wait for it to kick in over on the tubes. Tick tock, tick tock. And someone's just gone bleep. There we go. There we go. Now I've gone live. So hello everybody. Welcome to the Q&A for the 5K giveaway. So we're going to give it a couple of minutes for a few people to come in. But in the meantime, as you can see, I've got a couple of earworms in with me tonight. I've got Andy over at AH Bespoke, and I've got Dale from Maple Tree Studios. Andy was a little bit of a late comer, so his link's not in the description just yet, but it will be after the show. But Dale's link is in the description, so if you want to go over and subscribe to Dale, Andy, if you want to put your link in the chat, and Dale, you can as well if you want to. Make sure you go over and check out their two channels and go and click that subscribe and bell and all that good stuff. And go and give them a subscribe. Do some great stuff over there. Andy does some carving, Dale does some scroll sawing, and yeah, go give them a follow and a subscribe. So yeah, we've how many people we got in at the moment?
There are 33 people.
33.
So
okay,
far.
so let's kind of get this shindig underway. So first of all, I guess I just want to thank everybody for hitting that subscribe button. It's been kind of overwhelming, really, to hit the 5K mark. I've kind of put in a bit of hard work, putting out a video a week, sometimes more every now and again. But it's obviously soon paid off, and I've finally got there. So it's amazing what a bit of hard work can where it can get you. So yeah, I kind of want to say thanks to everybody and kind of give back to the community that's given me so much over the years. So what better way to do it than doing a giveaway? And with the gifts that I'm giving away to me, I think they're outstanding. We'll get onto that in a little while, but first of all, we'll kick it off with a Q&A, because that's kind of what the video is all about. So if there's any questions, I don't know if we want to kick it off with my two earworms, and then we'll wait for some people out in the chat to bring in their questions.
Folks, mark up your questions with like 2 question marks, a question for Jamie. Anything you want to ask, anything goes at all. And we'll see where we get to. But between now and then,
I guess you could say the world's your oyster.
Come
on, shall I put on my face shield for this?
Well, no, not yet. We'll get there. So one of the questions that you're famous for, absolutely famous for, and I know you've answered this before, but I think it's one that sets the tone for this. So the classical question that you ask is boxers or briefs, but what I think everyone really wants to know is boxers, briefs, commando, or mankini.
Right. So with this, so let me give you a background of how this all started. So the background started. So some of you may or may not know, I'm one of the hosts of the Makers International podcast, and this started one day where we had a girl on the podcast called Nicola Butcher, and she was a 20-year-old chippy, as we call in the UK, which are female carpenter or tradesperson, and a carpenter, yeah. But she was also a tradesperson,
yeah,
right. And she was being nominated for tradesperson of the year for 21-year-old, I think it was. She was, and basically what happened was Richard said to Chris and said to me, basically don't ask the normal questions. So the very, very first question Chris asked was boxers or briefs. So after that day, I took the reins. So every single guest that we ever had on after that, Nicola, I asked them boxers or briefs. So in reference to Dale's question just then, if you want to find out the answer to that, you can go to episode number 50 of the podcast and you'll find out the answer.
Oh, that's cheating.
Because that's
Links in the description.
I will put the link into the description of that episode of the podcast after the end of the show.
It might be
Very
horrifying.
clever.
Might be horrifying. So there's a few questions coming from the chat. So let's start sending some of these. So young Colin Roberts asks, how long have you been turning?
How long have I been turning? I think I got my first lathe, which is I can't remember what it is. It was an Axminster MIDI lathe. It's the same lathe as what the Beard Time 16 is using at the moment. I can't remember I seriously can't remember the number on it. It was a variable speed MIDI lathe from Axminster, and I think I got that 3 years ago. I want to say, yeah, 20, maybe it was 3 years ago. I think late 2017. I think I got that. Yeah. So yeah, okay. 3 years.
3 years. So,
wow.
Young Dave Robinson says, how long ago did you start your YouTube channel?
So I started my YouTube channel in September 2017.
Following on from that, we have Young Jurassic Woodmark. What are your Mark Christopher? What are your personal goals for turning in the coming months? New skill or style, maybe?
I'm planning on doing. I'm planning on adding some more resin to my projects. So one of the projects I did was some of you may or may not have seen it. Is I turned a wall hanging for Pam from Highland Boxes. So there was a bit of scroll saw work in it with resin and all that kind of stuff. So I'm planning on doing a bit more of that. Maybe a bit more intricate scroll saw work inside of it. I've just seen Andy Berkey's comment.
Yeah, I just saw that.
We'll go there.
That's what made me chuckle.
We'll go there.
So yeah, mate, I'm thinking about doing a few more turnings with resin in it, but with maybe a bit more intricate scroll saw work done into bowl blanks and then filled with resin. So, and maybe obviously a bit bigger. So yeah.
Cool. So moving on from there, like I say, we've got Douglas Mungham. When turning a bow, how deep should a mortise be, and should the jaws ever bottom out in any way? No,
they shouldn't bottom out in any way, because that can cause all sorts of problems. So it all kind of depends with the mortise. So if I've got a blank, I haven't got one here at the moment, but if I've got a blank that is very much off center, or it's got barking glued like big chunks out the side of it, I tend to make the mortise a little bit deeper than what I would normally make it. Just for that extra bit of security.
Okay.
But normally, which I didn't realise, is Wayne the Woodturner told me this. You can make it just a couple of millimeters deep, and that will be perfectly fine. But normally, I've always gone between 3 and 4 millimeters. But like I say, if there's something wrong with the bowl blank, let's say, for example, this piece of yew that I've got here. And that's obviously, let's say that's a 13 or 14 inch bowl blank. That's a big chunk to be swinging around the lathe. That would kind of make me feel a bit uncomfortable if that was bouncing all over the place. So in that sort of circumstance, I'd make the mortise a little bit deeper, just for my own personal comfort, because I'm not working in a big space. And my phone's already ended up in a mop bucket once, where the bowls come flying off the lathe.
Because of all that stuff you publish on it, I mean, they needed a wash. Julian, the gentleman woodturner, asks, where would you like your channel to be in 12 months? 10,000 or 100,000?
I'll be honest, I don't really set myself goals per se for my channel. Because if I did, then I wouldn't be disappointed if I never reached it. I'm kind of happy just to let it go along as it's traveling. The closer I get let's say for example, the closer I got to 5,000, the more I wanted it. But I don't ever set myself goals. So if
Okay.
say for example, in 12 months' time, I was at 9,000, and there was, say for argument's sake, we was 11 months in, then I would shoot for the hips and try my hardest to get to that 10,000 mark before that year was up.
The original Yorkshire Grit Oompa Loompa himself, Huey Lionheart, asks, how long have you been using Easy Wood tools, and do you have a favorite piece of tooling? And a question from me is looking behind you, are you trying to compensate with those really big ones for something?
All these Easy Wood ones. So these three here are the new Easy Wood Tools Pro Size hollowers. So that's the new Easy Wood Tools #1 hollower, the Pro Size. So in comparison, this is
snooker cue.
That's the mid size. So you can just see by the size of the bar the difference.
That's a snooker cue.
So, and then obviously you can tell by the handle that kind of the difference.
It's for doing poo snooker.
So yeah, it's a quite a bit of a beast. So so how long have I been using them? I'm not actually sure, to be honest. I've been using them a couple of years, maybe 2 years.
Okay.
And my favourite is, without a shadow of doubt, the #1 mid-size hollower. By far, without a shadow of a doubt, 100%, the #1 hollower mid-size.
Cool.
I would recommend that anytime, any day, any place, and twice on Sundays. But we'll get on to that later on.
Following on from this, we now have a question from Ghost Wolf. He asks, what is the biggest mistake a new wood turner makes?
Biggest mistake a new wood turner makes?
Starting wood turning instead of carving. No, I'm joking.
Biggest mistake a new wood turner makes?
Not doing enough scroll sawing, I would say.
Biggest mistake a new wood turner would make? Oh. I would probably say sand. One of them could be sanding. Sometimes people sand too fast. I noticed Claire was in the chat there.
She is.
I think this isn't a dig at Claire, but this is Claire actually just did remind me of this. Now, Claire messaged me one day, and she was actually sanding kind of at full speed, and it was burning her hands. Well, when you sand at full speed, it doesn't do a thing. You need to be sanding slowly around between 300 and 500 RPM for it to have any effect. Because one, you're just going to burn your hands. That's my light just falling. Probably because I just booted the bench.
Claire's conducting Essex voodoo on you.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. So yeah, one, it will just have no effect on the wood, and in some cases it can even burn the wood, especially if it's like something like cherry. And two, you're just going to burn your hands. So
Cool.
yeah.
So that antique ancient lady, Caitlin the cat. I mean, everyone else is young, and Caitlin clearly is the oldest person here. What is the biggest project you have ever done?
Oh, on the lathe.
She didn't qualify.
So I'll say I'll go through flat work and scroll saw and things. So the biggest flat work I've ever done was I made a full-size replica post box for my cousin's wedding. Unfortunately, I didn't ever do a video of that because I was under some time constraints. There are pictures somewhere on my social media. If I can find them, I'll repost them for everyone to have a look at. That was that one. I did a picture of a scroll saw picture of the Queen, which took me 30 hours. That was, I believe, 30 inches tall and 20 inches wide, I want to say. And I'd done that on a normal 16-inch scroll saw. which is what, £100 scroll saw. So nothing top of the range by any stretch of the imagination. And on the Coronet Herald, the biggest piece I ever done was a 21-inch rippled sycamore platter. Record Power claimed that the Coronet Herald could turn 21 inches. I wanted to see if it could, and it did it no problem.
Cool. So moving on from there, we have a question from young Mr. Berkey. Mr. Berkey asks, what is your favorite tattoo?
Well, that's a tough one, because I've got a tattoo. I've got a few tattoos, so all maker related. I've got a tattoo of Seymour Make Better, which is Berkey's logo. Arguably one of my most meaningful tattoos. I've got a tattoo of Izzy, and I've got a couple of others, and I've got a tattoo of my first. It was a tattoo designed by Sarah from Wartooth Designs, and it was a tattoo from the first time I went to the Atlanta Woodworking Show, which was nicely paid for by Izzy, and when he was doing the Toolmasters Association, I was sponsored and paid for to go out there for that. So that's one of the reasons why I've got the Izzy on there on my leg. But the one I've got on of the it's basically a burger to represent the USA. Then there's two cross flags of the USA flag and the British flag, and there's palm trees to represent Key West, because that's where I got it done.
Cool.
So there's that, and I've also got a cacao tattoo, which is kind of like a tattoo to represent my friendship with Carl and Robin, and there's DJ, and there's a couple of other people that have got it as well.
Barry Oak asks, what one piece of advice would you give someone who's looking to start a YouTube channel?
Just do it. Just do it. Simple as that. The truth of the matter is you don't need no fancy equipment this day and age. The truth of the matter is all you need is a phone.
As long as you've not dipped in a bucket.
As long as it's not been dipped in a mop bucket. The truth of the matter is with a phone you can get video editing software for phones. You can record on phones, which most phones these days record just as good as a video camera. I mean, I can change the settings on my phone and it will record in 4K. So, yeah, I would just say use your phone, just get a cheap mount, and just go for it. It's kind of like when I first started my channel, I was all and ahhing, and I was kind of debating whether to take it down, and I got convinced not to. But now look at me. A couple of years down the line, I'm at 5,000 doing a thank you giveaway.
Young Ian Twosheads says, what do you prefer, turning or scroll saw? I haven't seen you doing much work in the scroll saw lately. Oh, controversial.
That's a tough one. I love doing both, honestly. But when it comes to productivity, the lathe is so much easier. I can turn 30 bowls and finish 30 bowls for the time it takes me to do one scroll saw project. It's as simple as that. So I'm going to carry on doing some more scroll saw pictures. I've got a few pictures already drawn out on wood, ready to scroll. So it's a case of, at the moment, I'm going to build up my inventory of videos ready to Richard.
It's coming.
I've just said, there's a sticker there that needs painting white. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build up an inventory of turning videos to give me enough time to scroll out a picture, which I believe is going to be a tiger and a cub is my one are going to be my next one, possibly. I've actually scrolled one, which I can't let you in on, but that's going to be a good one.
Douglas Mungham is asking, how do you make sure it's running straight?
What, the scroll saw?
I think he means the lathe when you're. I think he's still on his other question. Douglas, I think we'll hold on to that one and we'll come back to it. Wayne Bigfoot Woodcraft is asking, question, are there any stickers that Dale hasn't found yet?
I don't know. How many have you found?
5.
Yes, loads.
Rob CP asks, what piece have you made you're most proud of?
What piece am I most proud of that I've made? So on video, I would say the Pam Harris wall hanging. Unfortunately, I didn't get the YouTube eyes as what I would like to have got on it, but it's the way YouTube works, unfortunately. Sometimes you get views on bowls that just you didn't think would do really well, and all of a sudden they just shoot to the stars. Then you put hours into a project and they just go nowhere. Just one of them things.
Bobby, the gentleman woodturner, asks, does JP enjoy living in France, and how does he commute to the UK? Ferry or tunnel?
I think you're mistaking me with Barry. That would be Barry from Real Simple Things.
Something from the Shed asks, do you prefer traditional tools or carbide scrapers?
So I've only just started using traditional tools. So I've only ever really used carbides. I love carbides. I'll never stop using them. But I'm still in the process of using gouges, and although I'm finding it very difficult, like I say, I've just started learning, so I can obviously see the benefit of it. Otherwise, no one would be using them if they didn't each have their benefits. So, but once I've learned how to use them properly, I'll be using both. There's no doubt in my mind.
Cool. Moving on from there. Next question is from Hodgepodge Woodworks. Any tips for a wood turner starting a YouTube channel?
Again, it's exactly the same as starting a YouTube channel. Just go for it. Just go for it. Oh, you
Andrew
got
Mortimer
first.
Of course. Andrew Mortimer asks, what's the best project you've made for your other half? He used the word spouse, but other half.
Other half. Do you know what? She's never really asked me if I've made her a pendant. I think one of the best things she's made was she come out here and she made a scroll saw project. But that I think she made that, But I kind of helped her, and it was just the fact that we was both out here together. I guess that was probably the best thing.
I can imagine that being like a dry giving your other half a driving lesson. No, you don't want to do it like that.
It was actually a project that she made for her brother for university. He had just graduated, but it was the fact that we was both out here.
Yeah. Moving on from there, we have a question from Young Emmett. Young Emmett inquires, when will you make it back to the States, and if so, can we hang out?
I don't know. I've no plans at the moment. I do hope to come back there soon. I don't see no reason why not. It depends on what side I come over to.
COVID.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
I think we kick on that. Jennifer Stroughton asks, what is your favourite wood to turn?
My favourite wood to turn is probably got to be sycamore ash. I think I answered this on the live on Saturday. I think I now narrowed it down to sycamore because there's so many things you can do with it, like colouring and just the way it turns.
Sick of less.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many things you can do with it.
The Beard 16 asks, when are you going to paint that wall white?
As soon as Dale's down here.
Something from the Shed asks, can I get one of your stickers, JP?
Yes, I have actually got some upstairs. I actually found some in a box the other day.
And David Robinson,
once Dale finds it, he can tear it off his wall and then send it to you.
Oh, that's cheating. That's cheating. David Robinson asks, and this is the last question really from the chat. The live event of the weekend was awesome. Will there be another virtual craft festival anytime soon?
Yes, there will. So as soon as the festival ended on Cole's live stream at 2 o'clock that morning, I went onto a hangout straight away with Cole, and we started arranging next month's. So we're in the process at the moment of organising the next one.
Chris of the Dragons is asking a question which I think you might have answered
Yeah.
already, which is, what is your single favorite tool to use and why? Your single favorite tool to use.
Single favourite tool.
Easy
Where's
wood.
it? Yeah, it's the Easy Wood #1 hollower.
Yeah.
It's like a hot knife going through butter.
And that's all of the questions from the chat so far.
Right,
so I've got one.
Go on, mate.
I've got one. There's no comedy in this one. It's just a good old-fashioned one. It's because of all the videos that you've done on your channel so far. What are your favorites? I mean, you mentioned the Pam one, but are there any others that sort of jump out and stick out that you recall fondly or you're really pleased with?
So I'm very happy with, I'm going to say all of my scroll saw ones. Because the reason, when I say all of my scroll saw ones, I've got to be more specific there. When I say all my scroll saw ones, I'm going to say all of the scroll saw ones that are very intricate. So I'm talking the Chris Fisher Bamba one, the Bobby Duke one, the Nick Zametti one, the Zombie one. That's when I'm saying that. So the only ones I did before that was a Tiger. The Tiger I did was the very first time using spiral blades. Before that, I hated using spiral blades. I could not use spiral blades. So with the Tiger that I cut, I forced myself to like them and use them. After that, so the video I done on my channel where I cut out a portrait of Nick Zametti, that was the second time I'd ever used spiral blades. And after that video, where you're seeing me, the progression of spiral blades is each time. So there'll be the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time. So the Bobby Duke video would be the third or the fourth time, and then you got the Bam will be the fifth or the sixth time. You know, in my progression of using spiral blades, there weren't really any practice. There wasn't never any practice while I was doing it. You know,
project after project after project.
Yeah, it was a case of you've got to put out a project, so don't mess this up.
So there's a question come in. There's a question. Sorry, there's a question come in from a Mr. Andy Burkey. Mr. Andy Burkey inquires, I'm almost thinking about getting a lathe, JP. What size do you think I should start with? I don't want to buy another one in another year or so, but I don't want more than I need.
Right, Andy, I'm glad you said that. So, and this is not just going for Andy, this is for everybody out in the States. You will be glad to know that the Coronet Herald is now over in America. So this lathe is very, very cheap, and is an incredible lathe. You could probably talk to a lot of people that have used this lathe, and they'd all recommend it. So yeah, I would definitely go for the Coronet Herald. I think they sell it at I can't remember. I think it's Woodturning. I can't quite remember. I'll have to I'll grab the link, and if I can remember, I'll put it down in the description later on.
Cool. So that's all the questions we've really had from the chat.
I can't remember. Turner's Workshop. I think that's where they're selling it.
There's one last minute question come in, and then I think we'll close the chat for this one. It says, JP, have you ever wood carved?
I haven't, but it's something I really plan on getting into.
Do you want a lesson?
Yeah, not a bad idea. So I actually wrote this on one of my community tabs not so long ago. I see Andy's videos, and I take Andy as a very, very big inspiration in doing some carving. So if you haven't checked out Andy's channel, definitely go and do it. He does some incredible stuff, especially that X-Wing he did over the weekend. So yeah, definitely go and check out Andy. So
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's the questions done, sir. I think it's back to you.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the 5K giveaway. So the items, first of all, that are up for grabs is you're going to get a tub of Yorkshire Grit, of course. Glyn supports me all the time,
Hands
so
that feel shitty can feel.
I've got a tub of Yorkshire Grit for you to give away. I'm going to get you a custom JP tumbler. You'll have the new and improved, cleaned up logo than that one. But yeah, you'll get a custom tumbler from Chad over at Mancrafting. There's a link to the video in the description to a blank that Jake Thompson has made, which is a hybrid like dinosaur blank, which is about 4 inches in diameter, and it's about it's Texas size, and it's got a little dragon on the inside of it. So that's absolutely massive. So, and the grand prize is you're going to get a brand new Easy Wood Tools number 1 Oliver. So I'm going to buy one of these. I'm going to ship it out to you because, like I was saying earlier, this is by far my favourite and number 1 tool in my workshop. So why not share the goodness with you guys? I want to muddle this like properly. You know what I'm saying? I think it deserves it. So yeah,
get your mankini out and do it now.
Yeah.
Well, that's got to be eliminated. You've got to go back and listen to the podcast for that. All right. So how you can enter to win that? So after the stream goes off air, all you got to do, doesn't matter where in the world you live, all you got to do is leave a comment down in the description, and just say where you live. You can write whatever you like. There you go. Chris just says I want that, but yeah, you can write whatever you like, but make sure you state what where you are. So you can write UK, USA, Canada, Australia, wherever you live. All right, just so we know where we're sending it. Okay, and the reason for that is I put out this video, so it gives me a video to put a random comment generator in, and I've got a place where I can filter these comments from. So that's all you need to do. So if you happen to be watching this later on, it doesn't matter that you missed the Q&A. Just make sure you leave a comment down below, and you'll be entered. So yeah, there you go.
Cool.
There you go. All right.
Did you put your preference of prize, JP, or like?
You could do whatever you like. If you put a preference of price, if maybe you want the tool, you could still end up with the Yorkshire Grit.
Oh well.
Douglas,
it doesn't matter. I'll be.
It's just random. Yeah.
It's completely random. It's completely random.
Douglas is suggesting
so there's going to be 4 different winners. Not one person doesn't get everything. So there's 4 different winners.
Douglas Mungham is suggesting you should include a prize of a pair of budgie smugglers.
As worn by Maple Tree Studios.
No. I'm totally comfortable with the boxers conversations. There's no worries there. And on that note, yeah, channels saying, lots of
speaking of Mr. Grit,
and
bit of product placement.
You couldn't place it anymore, could you? Like,
yay!
I know, right? I know, okay. Right? So, yeah. That's all you got to. That's all you got to do. Just leave your comment down in the description. If you've got a household full of family members, the only rule really is you need to be a subscriber. If it comes to me picking out the winners and you're not a subscriber, then unfortunately I'll have to do another draw. So, yes.
Cool.
All right.
Barry says, "What about if I put France, JP?" That's your prerogative, Barry.
One for you to work out, son. One for you to work out. Cool.
I'll slide it down the Channel Tunnel.
Claire
You
said
probably
she
felt-
bags the tool.
Does she?
Mhm.
Well, say about that.
I think everybody wants the tool.
Everyone wants to grab hold
No.
of Jamie's tool.
Yeah. Even Barry won one when we done the
Jake's
when we done the
blank.
Easy Wood when we done the Easy Wood live stream. So it's like he still wants this one. He wants to play the drums.
Yeah. That's it. He's not broken the other one already, has he? Is that what it is? He's
I
broken
tell you
it.
what would be a good idea though. You could put a normal cutter on one and a negative rake on the other.
Could do, but don't give him ideas.
I know, right? He needs to buy a lathe first.
He needs to buy a lathe. He needs a lathe.
Yeah.
He needs a lathe. He needs a scroll saw.
Yeah, he does. Everyone does.
I think so too.
So is there any more questions?
It's all quiet, sir. It's been quiet for a little
It's
while.
all quiet.
It's all quiet.
Good.
So
Good. They know everything there is.
Yeah,
The
mate,
problem
we're
is
all
you're on makers all the time. I mean, people know.
Glyn wants to know how he wants to enter as well. Glyn, what you do is you go to your workshop, turn on your machines, and you make yourself some.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're after
You'll pay for
unless
that.
you're after a cup or unless you're after a cup, a tool, and a resin blank, then you just enter down below.
You know, Kevin
just
Edwards said correctly. He says if you say Yorkshire Grit 3 times, Glenn appears like some version of
I know.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Cool,
yeah, I'll.
Last question. Question from Demo. When will your Aussie accent improve?
Never. I'll be honest with you. Never. It's always
Cool.
been poor.
All right.
Ellie said, I saw a question about end grain hollowing.
I think we missed it. Somewhere in the noise. So if you maybe if you
I'll
want
be
to-
totally honest. When it comes to end grain hollowing and the easy wood carbides, the easy wood hollower, it still goes through hot knife going through butter.
It's a good shout.
It does. It just goes through like no one's business.
proper tool.
There's a question for you there, Andy, but I think I'll let you read that one for yourself.
Oh,
Ian in the shed's asking a good question again. When will the draw be?
So the draw it's open now, and it will end midnight on the 31st UK time. As soon as that's done, as soon as it turns midnight, I will grab my camera and I'll do a screen record and I'll post it straight away. So it will be done then. So if you're asleep and you wake up, you will know by the first of the month. So you will know by the first of the month on UK time. I'll be honest, Colin, I couldn't tell you. I've never tried the Simon Hope Hollower. I've never had any reason to be honest. That's not a dig at Simon Hope. I've always stuck with Easy Wood because I've never had any reason to go elsewhere.
Crafty Clear saying
You don't try and make something that isn't broken if that's a good way of putting it.
Cool. All right. Cool. Oh, one last
So-
one question. Where were you using the #1 Pro Series hollower on one of these vids?
So what's happening is I'm getting a table leg off of Glyn soon. We've got to arrange for delivery, so I'm going to be turning is it snooker or snooker table leg, isn't it?
snooker table. Yeah.
Snooker table leg, and we're going to be making something with that. So you'll see me using the Pro Series #1 hollower on that. So yeah, that's a big beast of a chunk of wood. So yeah,
Cool.
that's going to be a fun turn. So people. I just want to quickly point out. There's people. I've noticed people writing their locations in the chat. So it's not in the chat that you need to write the where you live and any comments and things like that. It's down in the down in the description. Yeah, down just under the description in the comment section. So it may take a little while for the video to process. As soon as the video is processed, that's when you can put the comments. Okay, so just like when it's a normal video, and then you click on the video, and that's when you have a chance to write a comment and all that sort of stuff. As soon as you've done that, that's where you write your comments. All right, so you write whatever you want. Just make sure you write whereabouts, what country you're from. Okay, just so we know where we're sending them. And as soon as I pick the winners, I'll let the winners know on the day of that recording what to do after that. Okay.
Cool.
So if there's any, we'll give it a couple of minutes to see if there's any more questions. Unless people want to see the prizes one more time. Let's go over the prizes one more time.
Go over the prizes one more time.
We've got a tub of Yorkshire Grit. We've got a custom tumbler from Mancrafting.
Nice.
I'm sure we can discuss colours in case you don't like black. We can have a word with Chad about that. And of course not the detailer, but the number one follower, which is the small tip. So yeah, which is
cool.
the CI5. That is. So yeah.
Cool.
So
cool, man.
Okay. Oh yeah, I did notice. Was it Richard that gave a super sticker earlier on?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yes. Thanks for that, Rich. Sorry, mate. I forgot to say thank you for that. Oh, Emma, what is your worst making project? My worst making project. Oh.
Something that's exploded, most likely.
So it wasn't something that I actually made on video. I was actually doing a scroll saw demo. I was doing a scroll saw demo at Kempton Park, and this was for Record Power. And I was doing a piece that was of a horse, and I was doing a real intricate piece on the I want to call it the mane that was at the front, or the bit of tufted hair that comes down the front of the horse. Okay, and it was real intricate piece of wood. And the wood that I was using that wasn't exactly the best, if I'm honest. You could kind of describe it as flour between two pieces of veneer. Would probably be a good way to describe this wood that I was plywood I was using. And as I was going really slow and taking real care, a lady leaned over to see what I was doing. She burped right into my face. And basically the whole front tuft of this hair of this horse just exploded. Needless to say, I wasn't very happy.
No.
But luckily for me, when I took the pattern off, you couldn't tell. So, and neither did they at Kempton Park, and they still hung it up at Kempton Park because they still thought it was awesome. So.
Cool.
So even though it was a mistake that only I knew about, well, now everybody else knows about, or about 5,000 people.
Now
5,000 people knows about. Thank you, Dale. Oh, £5 for white paint. £5 from you. £5 from Rich. I can go and get stuck. I'll be taking a trip to Wicks's tomorrow.
Yeah, too right.
make sure it's matte paint. No. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was quite upsetting, I think.
It's always challenging when you're doing a demo.
Yeah.
Andy Burkey simply says, "Oh sure, JP."
Yeah. One day, Berkey will be able to beat Justin Christensen at a scroll saw contest.
Wait, this is fighting talk.
I know.
It's fighting talk.
He might even be able to beat Franco at cooking.
Good lord!
Wait, I'm going to stick up for my fellow weirdo. Leave him alone.
Cool. All right, sir.
Yeah. I guess that's everything. I'll give it a couple of minutes, see if there's any more questions. So I guess they're going to take that down. Make sure no one tells anyone at Kempton Park.
Can't be that bad.
They probably hung it up, and as soon as I walked out of the building, put it in the bin.
Kind of going. Do you know the forelock on that thing doesn't look right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. That also needs a bit of a comb over.
He needs it. There's something wrong with that horse. There's something wrong. Can't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
Blue Light Tunner's come in and followed on with the classic question. He asks again, boxes or briefs?
Revert back to episode number 50 of the Makers International podcast. I'll put a link in the description.
I love you too, Andy.
Shaya says, what scroll saw do I use? I use the Record Power SS16V variable speed scroll saw. So if I just quickly take this thing off, I can quickly show you what scroll saw I use. So it's got a lamp on it at the moment, but that's the scroll saw that I use. I don't know where you can see it. Yeah, there you go. That's my scroll saw. That's a Pro Edge that Wayne Reef fixed for me. Yeah. But Berkey's in the room. Gotta have my safety
goggles. Awesome. Look at that.
Berkey goggles.
Those are seriously steampunky. Like them.
Yeah.
Like them. Oh, says Blue Light Tunner, you've just remembered you wear thongs, he says.
Damon says that they're the same one since episode 50. Of course they are.
What, the thongs or the goggles?
Both. Yeah.
Question from Chris of Dragon Tail Tunners last minute. What is your ideal scroll saw?
My ideal scroll saw. There's a couple. So I'm going to say the EX21 Dale.
What?
What? Sorry. A Seiko scroll saw. Which, I mean, all of these, honestly, they're all exactly the same, if I'm totally honest with you.
The variations of the EX21 series.
Yeah. The Jet 22.
Jet 16's not bad.
Yeah. The Pegasus. So, but all of these are kind of variants of others.
Same pecking mechanism that makes the X21 such an outstanding machine.
Yeah, I'll be totally honest with you. I think the Hegners are overrated for their price.
There's lots of lovely low-end clones.
I think they charge a lot more than what they should for them saws. Don't get me wrong; they're really nice saws, but I think they charge far too much for them. I don't feel like they need to be that price.
Chris is suggesting that I seem to know a lot about the X21. I can't imagine why. Can't imagine why, Chris.
Mr. Berkey's team scroll saw, he's got a DeWalt 788.
Mr. Mr. Berkey. Awesome.
DeWalt is variable
Awesome.
speed on a scroll saw a must-have. Yes, in my opinion. Yes, without a shadow of a doubt. Some woods will burn as you go through them. It depending on what wood you're cutting through, you can easily break a blade. And depending on what blade you use, for argument's sake, if you're trying to use a Pegasus blade and you're using really, really thin wood, like maybe a plywood, and you turn the blade on, the Pegasus blades can be quite vicious. So if you turn it on and things aren't exactly straight, you might want
Vicious
to turn
in a
the
good
blade
way.
down. Yeah, you might want to turn the saw down a little bit because it can take off quite fast.
Chomp.
Yeah.
Blink. Chomp. Good. Great machine.
Yeah.
Goes the DeWalt 788. Classic, legendary machine.
Yeah. I've used a DeWalt 788 and they're great saws.
Yeah.
Great saws. So in actual fact, when I was doing some work with Record Power, we actually took apart a Excalibur and a DeWalt 788, and they are actually the exact same machine in a different body. Exactly.
Remember, people. The definition of a great wood turner is someone has cut themselves on a scroll. You can't be a great wood turner unless you've cut yourself on a scroll saw.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Cole Jacobson's cut himself on a scroll saw. That's why he's such a fantastic wood turner.
It's just totally the truth.
Yeah. JP, I have a work zone scroll saw. Is that variable speed? If it's got a little twisty thing at the front, it's a variable speed. If you can turn the speed up and down, it's a variable speed. That means if you can slow down the bobbin thing going, it's variable speed. So yeah, right. So I think what we'll do is we'll give it about another 9 minutes, and then we'll call it the end of the show. Right, getting a scroll saw. Then I need help. If you need any help, Dutch Turner, just shoot me a message, and I'm sure we'll give you help. I've actually got a group on Facebook called Team Scroll Saw. So if you've got a scroll saw and you feel like joining that, you go over there, answer a few simple questions, and you're getting. Basically, you just got on the scroll saw and not really cut yourself. It's kind of like a couple of questions like what scroll saw do you own, what blades do you use, and have you been cut by a scroll saw?
Is Carl Jacobson a member?
I don't know. I think.
Because I'm just wondering, because had he cut himself before he joined?
I don't know. Question. Ian said, "Question." Caitlin asked, "What's the smallest thing you've ever turned?" So, so I tried turning. I can't remember who actually started the challenge. I think it was someone's challenge. Yuval did the challenge, and I tried doing it. It was like a goblet, and I got it. I managed to turn it down to the size where it went onto a 5p piece because I kind of got told off for using someone in my family's quick unpick.
Oh,
yeah, instead of a wood turning tool. But this was before I had this tool, which is super sharp, so I could have got real sharp detail. So could have done it a lot better with that.
A couple of questions out in the chat. Question: do you have a bandsaw at all?
I do, but it's more decoration at the moment, so it's gonna be going in the bin rather rapidly. So it's more of a shelf at the moment.
Oh,
Huey's asking, brace yourself. Where is the best place to find a beginner? I mean, sorry, no, I read that wrong. Where is the best place to find patterns for a beginner?
Right, so there's a couple of places. You can look online. What is it for the scroll saw? Yeah, I'm presuming.
Yes.
Right, so there's a couple of places. There's a place called there's a guy called Steve Good. So if you just type in Steve Good scroll saw into Google or whatever search engine is your preference, you will find his website. He's got thousands and thousands of free patterns on there. Either that or just type in free scroll saw patterns. I'm sure you're bound to find somewhere. There's a couple of places. So yeah.
There's a following question from Douglas. Says, "Is variable speed? Are the blades that cut in any direction any good?"
Yes, they are. They can be. However, they can also mess up your pattern real fast if you're not careful. They take there's a big learning curve with them, so you need to be real careful.
They're a little bit, though not to the same level of skill like a skew and woodturning. Not the same level, but you've kind of got to be paying attention all the time you're using them.
Yeah.
Guys, I've really got to go. I've just got a panic message from Donna, so
mate.
I'm really sorry.
No worries. That's all right. No worries.
Good time.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right, mate. No problem.
Cool.
Take it easy,
Bye.
Andy.
Yeah,
mate.
thanks. Sorry, mate. Really.
That's all right. That's all right. No worries, mate. Yeah. So spiral blades. So spiral blades have obviously got teeth in all directions. So if you're trying to cut in a straight line, and just one slight moves to the left or the right, you're going to notice it at the end of the day. So,
Zach,
thank you very much, Zach. Much appreciated, sir.
Keep up the good work, brother.
Thank you very much, buddy. Yeah, I don't know all my blades. Oh, hang on. What blade have I got in here? I've got one hanging up here. No, that's a straight blade. So my spiral blade's in the saw. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, it is unclamped. Yep, 2 seconds. Oh, there we go. I don't know how well you'll be able to. Don't know where you'll be able to see that.
Yeah, you can see that pretty well.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can see the teeth that go all the way around it. Yeah. So that's obviously I think that's a number 5. No, number 3 spiral. I think that was. It's 3 or a 5 anyway, because that's the only ones I ever really use. Is 3 or 5s for the patterns that I do, because the patterns I do are so big that yeah, I only ever really need to use 3 or 5s. So yeah, they're actually really good for a good pattern to do to practice on with spirals is doing something like an animal or something that's got a lot of fur, because you can't really make a mistake, or something like a tree or something like that, something like a forest or something like that, because at the end of the day, it's kind of like think of camouflage. There's no straight lines in camouflage. There's no straight lines in trees. Hence why the camouflage trousers or pants, if you're in the States, is used to match the tree. Boxers or briefs are used to match the trees because there's no straight lines in the wilderness. You know. So that's why it's good to do something like that to practice on with a spiral blade. So, yeah.
Definitely have their place. Definitely have their place, but you need to be paying attention.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. So I think on that note, once again, I'm going to... Oh, here's one more question. Would finer teeth be more controllable? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. In actual fact, it can actually be a lot harder in some cases, because finer teeth would mean a smaller blade. A smaller blade would mean you'd have to, mind you, a smaller blade would mean you have to slow the saw down, which means you have to do thinner wood in some cases, which
I
means
think the short
you're
answer
more,
is probably not.
yeah, which could end up mean blowout on the scroll saw.
Yeah, probably not. Would be the answer. That you have to slow the saw down. Because you're slowing the saw down, because of the thinner blade, you're still going to get the bite. All you're going to see is the errors that you're going to make are going to be smaller when you use a smaller blade, but the thickness of the wood is really the determinant factor here.
Yeah, so Scott the Blue Light Turner says, does the Record Power scroll saw come with blades? The Record Power do supply the saw with a pin blade, a pinned blade, and a spiral blade. Record Power do sell their own blades as well. I'll be honest, I'm not keen on them. I wouldn't recommend them. That's why I'll go to what do you call it? That's why I'd go to Pegasus. So
cool. Come up to the hour.
Yeah. So on that note, everybody, just remember, write in the description anything you want, really. Just make sure you write where you're from. And that's about it, really. Make sure you click the subscribe button to be able to keep your entry valid. And that's about it. Once again, thank you very much for all your support and helping me hit this massive milestone of 5,000 subscribers. Giveaway ends on the midnight 31st UK time. As soon as that hits, I'll do the result. I'll record the results and post it as soon as I possibly can. So take care, everybody, and until the next video I bring out, which will probably be the results. Take care, everybody. Bye bye for now.
Hit the